Hey, what's going on, everyone? My name is Matt Jarbo. This is 3 Buck Theater. Today is the 26th of July, 2018, and you're probably asking yourself, why are you audio again, Matt? What the hell is going on here? Why are we not seeing your pretty sexy face? Well, the answer to that simply boils down to this: when I'm on camera, I tend to portray myself a certain way. I kind of feel like eyes are on me. I feel like I have to be more restricted, so to speak, and I don't get to let loose, and I want to let loose when talking about movies, right? I want to let loose when talking about the things that I love the most, and that, of course, is this particular world we find ourselves in, this particular form of entertainment we find ourselves discussing and dissecting and obsessing over in some cases. And so I thought it'd be fun to give this a bit of a test, to try it out, to see whether or not going down the audio-only path allows me the opportunity to become more of an entertainer when discussing entertainment news, and not just a person who's punditing. Pundit, is that a word? Pundin? Is it? I know punditry is a word, but can you pundity? Is that it? You know what? Fuck it. Who cares? Who cares? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Let's talk about some movie news. I got a good selection of stories here today. This one just popped up over on We Got This Covered. Now, this is a rumor, and it's probably not true. I just want to start off by saying that this is probably not true given where things are, but it's still interesting nonetheless. Now, it says here that sources say that Fox may scrap both X-Men Dark Phoenix and the New Mutants. Now, I wasn't at Comic-Con and arguably didn't pay a great deal of attention to the Fox panel, which was weird, but there wasn't a lot of Dark Phoenix love coming out of that one, right? There wasn't a lot of Dark Phoenix news. There were no trailers, which is weird considering the movie is done, and you figure they would have had something. I mean, I remember when Bryan Singer was presenting X-Men 2 in Comic-Con 2003, and he said they've only started shooting 2 weeks prior and still had a sizzle reel for us to look at, which arguably also turned into roughly the first teaser trailer or the first trailer. So it tells me they've been shooting for quite some time longer than that. But the point is you know, they shoot the movie. They got fucking dailies. You know, they could whip something together. It doesn't matter if the CG is done or not. Man, people want to see the shit at Comic-Con. They want to know. I mean, when they showed off the R-rated cut for Deadpool, all right, the unrated trailer for Deadpool in Comic-Con 2015. They also showed us a bit of unfinished, stuff for X-Men Apocalypse, which opened, a solid 10 months later. But they had footage for that then. So what the hell's going on? That's why even though I don't think this particular rumor is 100% true, I do feel that ultimately there might be something here worth looking into. Now, it says that basically, not only is the franchise's immediate future up for question thanks to the impending Disney-Fox merger, but there's also real concern that Dark Phoenix, Simon Kinberg's 90s set prequel film, may have fallen on hard times. The allegations go as far as to suggest that Fox was unhappy with the third act and quickly ordered reshoots in order to course-correct a film that was once described as the most ambitious mainline X-Men movie yet. Also, it's the same story for the New Mutants. Josh Boone's horror-tinged spinoff having been hit with a sizable delay, and then seeing the movie pushed back to August of next year. So remember, it was going to come out April. It was already supposed to be out a few months ago, which means it would have been hitting home video this month. And then they pushed it to February 2019, and then they dropped it to August 2019. So, I mean, they keep dropping this film back. And it says here that there's been similar but no less troubling reports about Fox having issues behind the scenes, with the studio ordering heavy reshoots, and that Boone is not to be very happy with all the meddling. And why would he be? Why would he be at all happy with the meddling? Now, this movie was we first got a teaser trailer for in October of last year, like I said, with that April release date. So it was coming down the pipeline. They were going to go dark horror themed, R-rated, X-Men Mutants comics and whatnot. And then this Disney deal seems to come down to play. This Disney deal seems to be going on, and that really fucked a lot of shit up. It really did. Now, a lot of people out there who like the current trend of X-Men films are not very happy about this. A lot of people who like the current trends are like, oh, but I want them to stay where they are. They've done very well. Logan, Deadpool, X-Men Days of Future Past, not so much of Apocalypse, but maybe this Dark Phoenix was going to be able to kind of like get it back on course, really kind of bring it back. And I think with the underperforming of Deadpool 2, and let's be fair here, there was a bit of underperforming. The movie's done well, but it came out at the wrong time. movies like that are fine to release in off season months. They would have done well regardless without as much competition. And I stand by this. I've said this about Justice League. I think Justice League was caught in the wake of Thor Ragnarok, which did in fact hurt its opening numbers, which weren't then put on by good reviews. But going back to this merger idea, right? This buyout thing, this $72 billion buyout. They haven't voted on it yet, right? Like, it's going to happen, I think, tomorrow or something. They're putting a vote in. Now, Disney doesn't want this thing to fall through. That's the whole thing with the James Gunn situation, in my opinion. And this could be the rumors that, like, if they get their hands on it, they could just scrap it and start all over again. I don't know. I don't. Fox is still currently in control of itself, and they still want to make money. So I don't think that's going to be the case. But the question here I have to you, and what I want you guys to write down, definitely in the comment section here, is: do you think that it would be better off just scrapping both projects, and then letting Disney take over? Right? Like, don't release these new movies. Just let them die. Let them be where they're going to be, and then bring in the next round. Right? Bring in the next round of characters that recast everybody. And, as much as I want to see Dark Phoenix and as much as I want to see New Mutants, I'm not entirely against the concept of scrapping everything and going and starting over fresh with Disney. And that has a lot to do, I think, to be honest with you, with the situation involving like Venom and how Sony's handling their Spider-Man cinematic universe and that side of things, and how it's not connected and it's not even really running parallel, even if name only sort of thing. That I would just rather have it all be under one roof instead of these like really kind of convoluted timelines that are meant to kind of merge it all together. That would be, unless, somehow, I don't know, man. I don't know what they're going to do. I think given where things are with the MCU, a lot of people are really mad over James Gunn, to be fair. And I've heard a lot of people say, like, just end, Infinity War Part 2, whatever the hell they're going to call it, Avengers 4. And then just end the MCU after that and be done with it, and then go on to these separate timelines. And maybe we've just gotten to that point where it's been 10 years of a persistent universe, and other people have tried to play on, but it hasn't really worked. So maybe, I don't know, maybe it's all crazy at this point. I don't know what's going on, but hopefully we'll find out more pretty soon. And this one's interesting. This next story is interesting here because Henry Cavill, who I think is a great actor. I love him. I love him, Superman. Right, can't wait to watch Mission Impossible Fallout tonight, and he's been out there right now, kind of campaigning a little bit. Right, he's campaigning a little bit for his next role. He's actually thinking he could do well as James Bond. He actually was talking about that. He says here, "I would love to do it, of course. I think Bond would be a really fun role. It's British, it's cool. I think that now that I have my Mission Impossible badge, we can do some real stunts and really amp it up as well." Not to say they weren't doing real stunts. I'm just saying it'd be fun for me to actually take what I've learned on this and carry it through to a Bond-like movie. And of course, I think that would be fine, right? I think Henry Cavill's a good actor. I think that with the right director and the right script, he could be a pretty decent Bond. At the same time, a couple of years ago, he was in the Man from U.N.C.L.E. 2015 Man from U.N.C.L.E. Now that movie, in my opinion, is one of the biggest clusterfucks that Warner's has done, right? Like, I was at Comic-Con and they showed us this like 5-minute sizzle reel for the movie, this extended preview. Now, Warner's likes to do this, where they like to overshow you the movie, thinking it's going to get butts in seats. It never really works. And so what they did is they showed us this sizzle reel with all of this action, right? With all of this crazy over the top shit, like, totally a Guy Ritchie movie, all this crazy action. And my friend and I looked at each other and I'm like, do you feel like you just saw like the whole movie? And he's all like, yeah, I do feel like I just saw the whole movie. And as a result of that, I didn't go see Man from U.N.C.L.E. on opening weekend because I felt that I had seen everything. But then a couple weeks later, on a whim, my girlfriend and I went and caught it on like a Sunday afternoon. And holy shit, that movie was fucking phenomenal. And I mean, like, fucking phenomenal. I felt so bad that more people have not seen this movie. Even now, 3 years later, people still haven't gone and watched The Man from U.N.C.L.E. And it should have been a franchise. It should have been the thing for Henry Cavill. Napoleon Solo should have been his Bond because of the way that the thing played out. It was great. The movie was fantastic. I might actually go pop it in this afternoon to watch it again. I thought it was a lot of fun. So, if he wants to come in to be a Bond, that's cool. What I want from him right now, and I think I'm not the only one that thinks this, I really want it to be, I really, really want there to be Man of Steel 2. I think knowing what Superman knows after dying from BVS, being resurrected in Justice League, becoming Boy Scout Superman, fans want to see where this is going to go. Fans want to see what this whole thing's going to do. And DC at this point is really trying to just get their shit back together. They are so trying to get their shit just in any possible way back together. And so I don't know where things are going to go. There's so much convoluted, conflicting information at this point, right? Have they dropped the DCEU label, which was never wholly their own label, and they showed up the Worlds of DC at Comic-Con, and people thought that was going to be the new name of it, and they had to come out and clarify it. They don't know what the fuck is going on. So I'm hoping we get a Man of Steel 2. But if anything, look, once Daniel Craig is done, right? Because the final Bond with him starts filming in a few months. It comes up next year, and once that's done, he'll be in the role for 13 years. It's time for him to move on. And you know what, man? I could see it going to someone like Henry Cavill. Cavill has that look about him. He has that je ne sais quoi, right? He's got that fucking look. You could see him walking into a room and like all the dudes want to be him and all the ladies are completely drenched in their panties, right? They could drown a toddler down there is what I'm talking about. That's what, you get by looking at Henry Cavill. And I'll admit it, he's an attractive man. That's why I'm saying it. All right. I'm comfortable enough in my own sexuality to sit there and go, Henry Cavill is a very attractive man. And he's also a huge gamer, so that even ups it. But yeah, I really do hope he ends up getting into this shit down the road. But here's an interesting one. The Batman. Now, we haven't heard much out of this. Again, nothing at Comic-Con about this, right? Even though 2019 is the 75th anniversary of Batman, it was rumored to be the year of the Bat with a Batgirl movie and like the Batman movie and Nightwing. And I mean, that was a rumor that I honestly feel like they should have made the attempt to pull off a little bit. It might have been too much Batman in one year, and I get that. But at the same time, I feel ultimately it would have been fine to do something like this. It would have been great to do something like this. But they didn't do it. They didn't say anything. Batman's name. Yeah, at Comic-Con, right? Superman's name at Comic-Con. It was Wonder Woman, which I get, right? And I get that, and it was Shazam, which looks really good, by the way. So I get that, but it's also like fans want to know what the hell's going on with this shit, right? This is when you realize how badly DC screwed the pooch with how they handled the DCEU. That this is where they find themselves. So it says here that yesterday gave fans some fun tidbits of information regarding the Batman, though still no concrete casting or anything has been confirmed as of yet. One key piece of information, other than that Reeves spoke with Ben-Hur star Jack Huston to don the cape and cowl, is that the film is inspired by Frank Miller's iconic story, Batman Year One. There's a big difference between adapting something straight to screen and creating some heroes based on the comic book. So, that's the thing is if they're going to, so Batman, Batman Year One is one they've been wanting to talk about for quite some time. I've heard this tossed around, for a long time, in terms of movies to make. Now, if you don't know what this is, I'm reading off the Wikipedia here. Year One is later referenced to Batman Year One. It recounts the superhero Batman's first year as a crime fighter. It was written by Frank Miller and illustrated by David Mazzucchelli. I probably totally fucked that up. And see here. So it's just recounting his early crime fighting career. The story simultaneously examines the life of a recently transferred officer, James Gordon, eventually building towards their partnership. So it's the story of how Batman met Gordon. It's that origin story. And you know what? I'm not against that. If they wanted to adapt that, I think that'd be fine. I think that'd be okay. I want Affleck as Batman. I want Affleck to finish the trilogy. I want Affleck to finish. I want him to get his own single role in this shit. I do. I really, really, really do. But unfortunately, I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think people are. I just don't see it. He was out there a year ago saying like, I'm Batman. He gets up there on stage. He makes a big old stink about it. I'm Batman. I'm Ben Affleck. I'm Batman. And then nothing. And then nothing post fucking Justice League. Like, I get it, Affleck, you have your giant ass back tattoo. I get it. But are you or aren't you Batman? At this point, that is literally what anyone cares about. All right? Like, yeah, you won Best Picture for Argo. I get it. It's a good fucking movie. It's a great fucking movie. But no one cares. Everyone just wants you to be Batman. That's all they want. This is to be Batman. How hard is that? That's it. But I mean, what do you guys think about this one? Do you think that there should be that Affleck should play the role one more time, or should they go to a younger actor to don the cape for for year one. And then also, who would the bad guy be? Who would the villain be? I know Black Mask is rumored for Birds of Prey. Black Mask, when it comes to any kind of ground level shit, would be great, I think. But there's a lot of other bad guys. I don't know. Do you think Batman Year One would be a good thing to do? Let me know. All right, jumping over into to lawsuit news. This is interesting because I didn't really hear about this. Now, back in February, Guillermo del Toro won Best Director or won Best Picture for The Shape of Water, right? And the movie was good. It was a really solid movie about a woman who falls in love and gets into a relationship with a fish man or man fish, essentially the creature from the Black Lagoon. Let's be fair. That's exactly what it was. But there was a copyright lawsuit, and it had nothing to do with MGM or Universal coming in there. No, MGM, but Universal coming down there and saying like, "What's up, bro? This is our shit. What are you doing?" This actually has to do from a playwright, the estate of a playwright named Paul Zindel, who says that the film The Shape of Water was very similar in terms of like lifting plot elements from his play Let Me Hear You Whisper, which does center on a very introverted woman working as a janitor at a lab who develops a relationship with a dolphin that's being experimented on. Now, Del Toro did deny this, and he's very open about who his influences are. But it does seem pretty similar. It's like, and I would say though, well, here's the thing. Here's what the judge ruled. The judge dismissed the lawsuit with prejudice, meaning they can't refile. And it says here that they noted that Zindel's play is a straightforward story that lacks decidedly adult meld of genres. And it says here that The Shape of Water has a romantic and sexual relationship between the woman and the fishman, whereas Zindel's play does not have that scene. So to put it in context, this whole thing, if Zindel would have written that woman fucked the dolphin, which, and let's be fair, dolphins also fuck for recreation, right? So it would not be entirely out of the realm of, I guess you could say, like actual things happening. But he didn't write that. It was a very straightforward play. Woman falls in love with a dolphin in a lab. That's fine. Doesn't fuck the dolphin, which is good because bestiality is bad. Let's be realistic here. Bestiality is horrible. But if he would have written it, it would have been something that possibly could happen. But that's what saved it here. That's ultimately what saved it here is that the scene where Sally Hawkins and Doug Jones boff ugly in a bathroom full of water is pretty much what saved him from this lawsuit. That's basically what it boils down to. Now, the judge also said that the real similarity between the play and the film is based on a non-protectable idea of a person having a relationship with any kind of animal/mythical creature, which has also been seen in everything from Free Willy to E.T. Del Toro, meanwhile, pointed out that he has written dozens of screenplays and received no prior complaints about plagiarism, which evidently provided some strong support for his case. So if he was trying to lift plot elements, he has never been accused of it before. And he's always open about his inspirations and whatnot. But this to me cracks me up. It literally boiled down to the sex scene in The Shape of Water, right? Which, let's be realistic, that was kind of awkward to watch, wasn't it? Like, I was watching that movie, I'm feeding like my infant daughter, and I'm watching the movie and it gets there and I'm all like, this seems weird. Like, is this meant to be erotic? I don't know. I mean, I personally know Doug Jones, so I don't know if that was necessarily him in the suit, considering like his religion plays a large part in his life, which is perfectly fine. But no, they did it, and won Best Picture. So remember, folks out there, if you want to win an Academy Award, we are now well past the days of using someone's physical or mental disabilities, differently abled people for the PC crowd out there, to bring in an animal. You know what I mean? Bring in a creature. Bring in a deaf mute, a midget riding a scooter, to just pogo stick on top of a Bigfoot or something, and then have set it to the backdrop of the Cold War. I don't know. No, screw it. Set it to the backdrop of like the 1940s internment camps here in the United States, and there you go. There's your Oscar Gold. And if you write that script, I want a cut of the goddamn profits. That's the thing. But speaking of a story that does kind of feel like ripping off something else, apparently Ryan Reynolds is going to produce a stoner version of Home Alone called Stoned Alone. And I just the title alone makes me want to like kill myself. That's fucking terrible. It's Stoned Alone. Unless it stars Ryan Reynolds as the stoner, which I don't think that it will. I just don't see it being a big thing. Now, it says here, so Ryan Reynolds is said to be at the helm of this new version of Home Alone, centered around a stoner kid who gets left home alone and has to defend himself from burglars while stoned up to his eyeballs. That's so stupid. That is so goddamn stupid. That is ridiculously dumb. It's so horrifically terrible, right? Like just, I can't make the sound. How do you like do the sound through audio, right? You can't tell I'm doing like the puff thing, right? Or whatever. They gotta find out some fucking, oh my God, the wet bandits are here. You know, let me just fucking, my coordination is now going to be perfectly fine because I'm stoned out of my mind. Is he smoking sativa or is he smoking indica? Is it a hybrid? These are things we need to know. Because if he's smoking indica, he ain't going to get shit done. If he's smoking sativa, maybe I'll buy it. Maybe I'll buy it for a hot second if he's smoking sativa. But according to Deadline, it will center on a 20-something who grows cannabis and misses the plane for his skiing holiday. As he becomes more paranoid while taking the drug, he imagines the house is being burgled, and then he realizes it actually is. Then he has to protect the property while completely stoned. The movie is being listed as in development. Okay, so that sounds. I know Ryan Reynolds producing it. It's probably gonna like add some star power to it. Whereas like Scarlett Johansson and the whole Rub and Tug movie is pretty much dead because she walked out. So, star power does have a thing here. Star power absolutely means some shit. However, come on, let's be realistic. This story is crap. This is crap. This sounds like crap because it's crap. No one, I don't want this. Do you want this? I don't want this. I don't care about this at all. I think I might check it out. I will probably check it out, but it's something I'll watch on home video. Unless the trailers are really funny and it's got a good story, but just like the core concept is pretty bad. But look, to be fair, The Hitman's Bodyguard was a good movie, right? And its original concept was a drama, right? It was like an action thriller. There wasn't comedy. It wasn't until 2 weeks before production that they quickly redrafted the script in order to make it a comedy. Right. So it's like if they can find a way to tell the story and they can find a way to make it funny and it's not just going to be stupid puns and weed humor the entire time, like it have to like if Dave Chappelle was producing this, I would be like, OK, I'm more on board. But we haven't really seen Ryan Reynolds in like a stoner comedy. So I don't know how much the Canadian partakes in the marijuana and whatnot. He's a father of 2 now. He's got to look after his kids. Can't be stoned all the time. So who knows? I don't know. I don't know. But finally today, guys, this is one that I heard about and I do want to talk about here. Apparently, 9 to 5, which is a great movie from the 80s, right? I love 9 to 5, is getting a sequel with the original cast. Jane Fonda, Dolly Parton, and Lily Tomlin are all going to be back for the thing. And Jane Fonda said that right now Dolly, Lily, and I are all intending to be in it. She says here that her role is going to be an executive producer, and she's working with the writers, with Lily, and talking to the writers. And it's probably something that is just in development right now, but they want to work on it, right? But they definitely want to play a lot involving with like the Me Too movement, right? So that's going to be a big part of the 9 to 5, because if you remember the concept of 9 to 5, they have Dabney Coleman is their evil boss. They kidnap him and everything else, and this is going to kind of take that same concept and turn it on its ear. A lot of it's going to have to do with the fact that it's going to deal with Me Too. So what you're looking at probably is going to be a more comedic version of Swimming with Sharks with Kevin Spacey and one name I can't think of right now. But Jane Fonda does say here in the interview that it has a lot to do with the sexual harassment, that the situation is worse today in 2018 than it did from the first film. And so, that's going to be the whole focus. And the thing is, I get it. It's topical. I get that. I understand that that's a topical idea there, that they want to go after this. I'm hoping that it's handled in a way that's he's okay. I mean, there are going to be people out there that are going to be really mad about this, and I understand that. But at the end of the day, what you have to realize is that, these situations exist in Hollywood. And I'll give you a quick kind of personal story. When I first moved to LA, I got caught up with an up and coming female director, who I didn't know at the time was going through like a bad breakup. And she really, really, really took her time, like paid a lot of attention to me and shit like that, much to like the disapproval of my girlfriend. And we would go and do these events together. And when we go do these events together, she would start referring to me as like, or she'd refer to herself as like my second girlfriend. And she would make a lot of these odd comments. And, it was kind of uncomfortable, but I didn't know what to say at the time because I was trying to get my career off the ground. And so that was a big part of it. And then, she actually used me to get back at her ex-boyfriend. Now, if you know what I look like, and I'm sure many of you do, you don't use someone who looks like me to get back at someone who looks like this dude. This dude would look good, right? So there's that. Like, so I kind of get like it permeates in everything, and I'd like to see them kind of tackle it from all sides if possible. But because of the political climate, because of who's behind it, I think with Jane Fonda, I don't think we're going to be able to get a solid like representation of the climate that both men and women face in Hollywood. And that's going to be unfortunate. But in the meantime, if it's funny, maybe you could send a good message and one that's not going to be beating people over the head. Because that's what people don't want right now. They don't want to be bludgeoned over the head with this shit. They want to be told a good, funny, compelling story. And if it has a message, the message will find itself permeating itself through. And that's ultimately what I think most of us want. But anyway, that's going to wrap up today's episode. I hope you guys like the audio. Or I know some people out there probably aren't going to like it as much. And that's okay. I want to do this more like this because I feel I can be more open and be more free. And I'm not relying on like all the production side of it. And I get to do what I feel I'm best at, which is just talk. So, let me know what you guys think below in the comments. Curious to know anything about any of the stories. If you have anything you want to submit over, you can always find me on Twitter, send me stories on there as well. And I will talk to you guys later. Have yourself a fantastic day and peace out.